What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to a new week here on the app. We've got some major news we're announcing, not today, not tomorrow, but sometime in the near future. We are going to be adding so much more to the app. It's crazy, guys. It's just this fantastic growth that we're having. We're about to expand. There's going to be hopefully some new faces on the app, not just me, but other individuals from around the world. And that's very exciting for both myself, for you guys, and for everybody who's new joining the app through those new people that we're talking about. But before I say too much, which I think I already have, I'm going to leave this in, not edit this out, because it's important to give you guys a little insight on what we're doing to improve and make the app better. So today's video is going to be about why you gain weight after a steak dinner. Everybody knows that after a steak dinner, you typically wake up the next morning and your fingers are swollen. Sometimes your face is swollen. Your body, your skin just feels puffy and feels tight, right? You're usually up a few pounds. And when I'm talking about a steak dinner, it doesn't have to be like this massive five-star steakhouse, right? It could just be something on the grill at the house. It could be at Texas Roadhouse, which I go to very often here in Texas. It's the best steakhouse, in my opinion, for the dollar. And, Outback Steakhouse, it's all the same. Like, the reason that you gain these few pounds after a meal like that, typically it's the next day. And I bet we can all guess, if you've been watching these videos for a while, you already know it has to do with water intake. So the reason that steak typically makes you gain a little bit of weight, it's not the meat itself. It's typically not the reason or the way you're digesting the meat. It's the sodium that the restaurants put in the meat. Sodium naturally enhances all the flavors. So by salting that meat more, it enhances the flavoring and the seasonings that they put on it. And so when you go out and eat really any restaurant, but primarily a steak restaurant, there's a lot of salt added to that to enhance the meat. So that's the main reason why. There's another reason why it has to do with digestion. More so than not, it's the sodium. But that doesn't mean you need to just stay away from eating meat, from eating steak. I eat steak. I try to eat red meat at least, I would say every other night at least. I eat some sort of red meat, whether it's steak or whether it's lean beef here at the house or wherever. Usually I like to go to a steakhouse once a week. When I do, I make sure I drink extra water at the table. Or I could do a sugar-free sweet tea, and I put some sweetener in there, some non-calorie sweetener, and I drink extra of that because that helps equal that water and sodium balance, which we've talked about so many times before. Now, this topic actually came to me from a customer last week who had steak. She classified it as a cheat meal, and I was like, that's not a cheat meal. I mean, as long as you didn't have like a dozen rolls with that meal or 4 sweet potatoes with the meal, that's really not a cheat meal. That's a very healthy meal. And the natural creatine found in steak helps us recovery and helps improve protein synthesis and just overall muscle growth and development. So red meat and steak is actually very good for you. I suggest that everybody has it at least 1 to 2 times per week. And when you do, make sure that you drink extra water. Now, how much water is needed? I can't tell you that. I can't say you need exactly 16 more ounces and you're going to be okay. You really just have to gauge it. If the meal tastes a little salty, you might add a little extra water to it so that you can make sure that you're balanced out with your water electrolytes. So that's a quick tip for those who are enjoying those steak dinners, guys. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Nutrition can sometimes be overcomplicated. People think that you go to a steak dinner, it's got sodium in it. They're up the next day, then they're killing themselves on the treadmill, and they're starving themselves, thinking that their steak dinner was a massive cheat meal, threw them off track, and it's really not that complicated, guys. Increase your water intake. You know that when you go eat food, especially at steakhouses, they use a lot of sodium, they use a lot of salt, but that's not a bad thing. Just increase your water intake, make sure you're getting enough electrolytes in, everything will balance out just fine and you'll be totally good to go. Your weight still may be up the next day due to your body digesting a very heavy meal, because typically steak dinner is a heavier dinner. It's going to sit on your stomach for a while. It's going to be there for maybe a day or two. So be ready for that, but that's not a big deal. That all will process and your weight will be back to normal within a day or two. So don't fret about the small changes in the scale, guys. It's always due to water intake. What you should be focusing on are your weekly averages. So if my weight is 189 today and my weekly average is 187, then I know that between Tuesday and Friday, I lost a pound because my average was lower. Now, the question is my average lower this week than last week if I'm trying to lose weight? And if so, I hope it is. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you for watching. Invite a friend. That's the one fee I ask, is that you just invite a friend. Take this video link, send it to a friend, and invite them here to the app. The app is growing, and we're about to experience a lot more growth very, very soon. So stay tuned for that, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you in a few days.